I want you to remember, in all your years to come, in all your private moments, my hand at your throat. I want you to remember the one man who beat you.
Hello, Bots and Books fans, this is Scorp1701, and tonight we are going to be taking a look at the DC Multiverse Superman vs. Armored Batman 2-pack. And this is obviously Todd McFarlane's take on the classic battle between Superman and Batman in the Batman The Dark Knight Returns book put out by Frank Miller in the 80s. And this is just going to be an awesome set to take a look at. So, starting off, we can see the two Titans right here in the window box. You have Superman and Batman. It is 12 plus DC Multiverse Superman versus Armored Batman. On the side of the box, you just have a little bit of credits. DC Multiverse, you have Superman versus Armored Batman and McFarlane Toys at the bottom. On the other side of the box, you have it in bigger letters, Batman The Dark Knight Returns. That is from the series, Superman versus Armored Batman, Batman The Dark Knight Returns, and McFarlane Toys on the bottom there. And then on the bottom of the box, you have some credits for the box and some barcodes, which is always good. And on the top of the box, you have Batman The Dark Knight Returns. And finally, on the back of the box, you have some product shots of the toys and some of the other toys that are in this line. And that is all well and good, but we don't want to see these awesome guys in the box. I know I don't. So let's get them out and see what they can do. And here we have Superman and Batman out of the box. And they come with a few figure accessories. First off, we get two of these nice DC figure stands. It's just round. They have DC on them and a little foot peg. They also come with this awesome figure stand that can pose both of the figures at the same time. You have a peg here and a peg here, and you could put them in a very grappling-esque pose like we saw many times in the comic books. They also come with a collector's card, one of each of them, and then you have the figures, and then you have this awesome little backdrop here, which would be a great display piece, except they have this plastic on here which holds the cards and the stands, so it's kind of an eyesore, and you can't really take this off without pulling the paint off. So right now it looks okay if you want to display it like that, but for the long run you don't really want to do that because it just looks gaudy. Anyway, that is them out of the box, and when we have two figures, I like to take a look at one at a time. So let's start with the Man of Steel.
I am Kal-El, son of Jor-El, born on the planet Krypton, raised here on Earth by Jonathan and Martha Kent.
And coming real close in on Superman, I believe Todd McFarlane nailed this from The Dark Knight Returns. This is a very nicely done figure, and you can see that he has a lot of those Frank Miller tropes about him with the very dark eyebrows, very thick, and his hair is huge and kind of bouncing off of his forehead. Very square, thick jaw, and the Superman S kind of fat here. That is all very accurate to how he was displayed in the Dark Knight Returns comic, and he is just a big, muscly boy. I love this figure. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so we can get a full view of him and look at his costume. And this costume is perfect. It does not have any extra things. It is very basic. You have everything you need. You have the bright blue suit. You have the Superman shield here. You have the bright yellow belt, the red trunks, and then coming down you have the nice red boots. This is Superman to a T. Only thing I wish they would have done, maybe put the yellow S on the back of his cape, but that's a nitpick. Most of the Supermen don't have it, some do, but it's rare that you actually do have one. And then here's the back of him. You're going to see under his cape, belt follows through Superman butt, and this is just great. Love the hands. They are fisted hands, no alternate hands or anything. Wow. I love the way this guy looks. All right, and he stands roughly about 7.5 inches, so this is a very good heighted Superman. Okay, and that is what Superman looks like. Moving on. And for Superman's articulation, his head can go all the way around 360 degrees. He can look down a little ways, which is cool. And what is more important is he can look up. So if you're going to go up, up, and away, you're going to have to look up, up, and away. All right, coming down to his shoulders. Shoulders are kind of on a butterfly hinge. You do get a little bit of in and out there. You do go all the way around 360 degrees. They are on a hinge, so they can come up and go back down. They are very, very muscly, so, you know, I don't see that that's hindering the articulation yet, so that is cool. He does have a forearm rotation that kind of goes all the way around 360 degrees, and that is built into the elbow bend, which you can see here. So that gives you about 90 degrees straight up and down. He is muscly. Again, that's where the articulation will be affected, though, I guess. And then that will bring us down to his hand, and his hand can go around 360 degrees, and it kind of is on a hinge, so it can kind of move in and out. If you can get the hinge lined up, because you can see the hinge kind of right there. So, it's kind of troublesome, but when you get it, you can get it. There it goes. All right, so that will bring us down to the chest, and the chest has two sections. You have an upper swivel area, which can make you go around 360 degrees, and you can kind of move him around, wiggle it waggly. And then you have a lower ab area, which that will again take you around 360 degrees if you're so inclined, and kind of an ab crunch that will go down and up back, so that is good. Then that will bring us to the legs. Legs can kind of come up a little bit and then back a little bit, and then you have not really anything at the thigh. It's kind of maybe a little bit in and out, but not too much. Have double knee joint, which is good motion and good range there. I like that. And the knee joint is a little darker in color than the actual suit. Not too bad, I guess, if you look that close, but if you have him on a stand, it's not going to be that bad. He does not have a boot cut that appears, and then that will bring down to his foot. Foot is on a hinge, so it can go up and it can go around 360 degrees, and you will do have some toe articulation, which will bring up like that and then back down, so that is cool. The rocker, obviously 360 degrees around, and yeah, that is a lot of good motion for Superman. And that is his articulation. Moving on. And for comparison, here the Frank Miller Superman is with the other DC Multiverse Superman. And you can see there is a big difference between these Superman. And the Frank Miller one is just so buff. He has huge arms, huge legs, everything. Looking at the original Superman we got in the DC Multiverse line, he looks like he could really get his legs pumped up and his arms. So I used to think this was very good Superman, and he is, but this one just looks tough, I guess. And I really like these costumes. They are plain, they are simplistic. You just got the red, the yellow, the blue, and that's really all you need when it comes to Superman. Now, you can see that this mold on the original one here was set to be reused, so they could paint these red and maybe even change the boots up a little bit, which is what they did. But still, basic Superman, always the best for me. All right, moving on.
I am vengeance. I am the Knight. I am Batman!
And that brings us to the Batman in his battle armor, and this thing is so cool. Now, there was another version of this. It was black, and this is the variant version. I think they made it for the 2-pack, and they also released it on its own. But this is a really, really cool figure. The only problem with this thing is it is very difficult to stand, because I think all the armor and the heaviness of the pieces will set him off balance. But I've got him standing now, so let's take a quick look at him. Hopefully he won't fall over, but I'm gonna have to pick him up anyway to turn him around. So let's zoom in real close on his head, and you can see he has this awesome bat helmet on, and you can see that it is kind of coming up from inside this huge chest piece. It kind of looks like the Mark I Iron Man armor, if you really want my opinion about it. And it is very nicely done. Head sculpt, bat ears good, nice eyes and triangles, and get his mouth in there. And the paint on this thing, very nicely done. You get a little bit of almost like swirl paint in there. I really like that, coming down to his chest plate. No bat symbol, which it didn't have a bat symbol in the comic, so I guess I can't really fault them for it. So, and if we take a look at the back, he does have this cape, and the cape is textured to actually look like cloth, but that is just plastic with a lot of good detail in there. That is really cool. Let me zoom out, because I don't know if we're getting blurry images or not. Hope not. All right, and the back of the helmet, the good's still the same. You got this neck piece here, and that will bring us down. He does have some nice shoulder pads. These are plastic, and they kind of move in and out. And if you look under there, you still got some cool armor bits. And then the armor kind of breaks up. You have his white parts here, coming down to his gauntlets. Gauntlets are nicely done. Nice detail in those, and you got the little spikes coming off, and then you got the hands that are gloved. Really like this. Nice detail on these hands. That is cool. Coming down to his midsection, you have this belt done in a nice creamish color, and you have the bat cup here. You can see some more of the undersuit right here. And then you have armor pieces. Now this is molded in here, and this is just a piece covering the knee joint, and then you have two parts for the boot. This upper part is a single piece, and it can move around, and you have the nice looking bat spikes on the back of the boot, which is cool. And again, you could actually lift this up and down a little bit, and it can move around if you're so inclined to do so. But that will bring us down to the boot. And the boot's nicely done, and if you look on the bottom, oh my goodness, he has some Superman face-kicking spikes on these boots, and that is so cool. And they actually are separated by these little sections here, and I think that may be one of the reasons he has trouble standing, because he's standing on a shoe full of spikes. But anyway, that is really neat. Let's zoom out as far as we can. Coming back, looking at the complete back of him, that is cool. Cape goes all the way down. Got the little jagged edges. I like that. And if we lift up the cape, you can see the back of Batman there. Got some nice bat butt, and the armor pieces that go all the way around his long john type suit. Okay, and that is an awesome looking figure. I really like this one, and I like that they went with the lighter blue color instead of the black one for the 2-pack, because I think this is definitely more akin to what he looked like in the comic. All right, moving on. And for our articulation, starting at Batman's head, his head can go around 360 degrees if you're so inclined. It can look down just the slightest, but it can look up for a long way, and that is cool in case he's searching the skies for Superman, or come here, punk, wherever you are. And it has a little bit of wiggly waggly in it, and I like that. That is cool. Coming down to the shoulders. Shoulders are on ball joint, and they can go all the way around 360 degrees. They are actually hinged, so you can get them to come up. The shoulder pad does kind of get in the way, but you might be able to just lift it up so it can get above the cape. So that's pretty much all of the articulation of the arm. You're going to be able to get that high up. It is kind of on a ball joint or a butterfly joint, so it can kind of come in and out. That will bring you down to the forearm rotation. It is there. It is kind of hindered because it's so bulky, and then that is built again into the elbow joint, and that will give you a little bit of range there for your elbow. That brings you down to your hand, and the hand will go around 360 degrees, and it is on a hinge just like the Superman hand. You just got to find the joint and be able to move it where you have the clearance. So that is pretty cool. Coming down to the chest area, you do kind of have a rotation at the chest. It can go 360 degrees around. It does kind of crunch forward and then back, and that's basically using the pelvic joints here. So yeah, not that great, but you're talking about him wearing this big chunk of armor. It does kind of wiggle and waggle a little to the right and left if you're so inclined to get him to do the little twerking torso dance. Then that brings us to the legs. Legs can go up that much. You know, you're not going to get a lot because he's in this big metal suit. Back a little bit like that. He does have kind of a thigh swivel, not too much, about as much as Superman. Does have double knee bend, which is really nice, and then that will bring you down to his feet. And like I said, this is a single piece, and it can articulate all the way around 360 degrees if you're so inclined, but that really doesn't help much to do anything. You kind of want it with like this, with the spikes at the back. And the foot is articulated like Superman's. It goes all the way around. It is kind of on a hinge. You can move it down. You can kind of move it up. And you have toe articulation, which is really cool when it comes to those spiked boots. I like that a lot. And that is going to be Batman's articulation. Moving on. And for comparison, here he is with the Justice Batman and the Nightfall Batman, two of my favorite Batmen. And I really think each of these Batmen have something different and unique to offer, and they are awesome. Alright, moving on. And this has been the DC Multiverse Superman vs. Armored Batman 2-pack. And these awesome figures were sculpted in the style of Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns, and I think McFarlane Toys did a great job bringing these to us. Now, this is not the first time figures like this have been offered. DC Multiverse offered these figures before. Back in the day, there were figures released of Superman and Batman. That particular Batman was in his blue costume, which you got from the first issue of The Dark Knight Returns, and then Superman was just Superman. He didn't really change his costume, nothing special about it. Then there was a 2-pack. At that point, the Superman was kind of given a golden premium paint job, and the Batman was in his black costume. There was a special convention exclusive versions, which were all blacked out. Those look pretty neat. And finally, there are these. But if you don't want the 2-pack, then they are offering these figures individually with a Build-A-Figure of a horse. You would have the Superman, and you'd have the Batman in his black costume, and then you have the Joker, and then you have Carrie, Robin, and you could buy all four of those and you put them together and you got a horse. So there's a lot of options when it comes to getting these type of figures, and these figures are really good. I think the Superman is, a very good looking Superman. He's very buff. I love that he's got, thick legs, thick arms, and he does have very pronounced facial features, and the hair flows off. It's very Frank Miller-ish, obviously. And the Batman, he's really cool, and I'm glad that the armor that he's wearing doesn't really affect his articulation. Now, the spiky boot does make it problematic for him to stand, but you got a stand, so if you put him on there, you can see he's not going to go anywhere. So if you are looking for these, I found this particular 2-pack at Target. Normally it goes for $40, but I found this on sale and clearance for $20. That's like $10 a figure. Couldn't pass that up. So if you're looking for these, check out your Targets, check out your Walmarts, and happy hunting. All right, guys. So that's it. That's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, keep playing.
You're just a man with no superpowers. You're right. I'm just a mortal with only his